I just don't see a way back in for ONYX. Inferno was their best chance, and now this is one of the best maps in the pool. Fiend are notorious on this one, so I just can't see anything left in this one.
Yeah, for sure. If there was a chance in this best of three that we could have opened our eyes to an opportunity of an upset, it had to be MUP 1 to strike, and ONYX just haven't been able to do so. We saw Fiend just looking very comfortable after that early slow start from them. So now going into their bread and butter, a strong map for them in a pool, up against an ONYX side who can have some rough Mirage performances. I don't see much of a way back in here for the Serbians. Fiend starting to bring a lot of players over to this A site, and for ONYX, it's probably going to have to be quite retake heavy. ONYX the only player on A.
2 smokes, 3 flashes. Fiend set piece into the A site. Pistol set up a standard onto the connector jungle and stairs smokes, I believe. Yep. And the CT player has got to fall back. Bondic with no real opportunities in this one. It's Impulse that might catch a blind shot as Bondic looks up towards the Palace position. Sees one player crossing. Gets no damage or no kills for it. The bomb gets planted immediately.
And they've still got 2 flashes to peek forward into City spawn. Dimki gets caught off. That's the backstab being read already.
Perfectly placed there from Red Star, accurate as anything, no damage taken, no chance to get a shot off, and the flashbangs do go over towards that CT position. Bondic struggles to hold on to a kill, but he does get one onto Victor. As back to a 4 versus 4, the start out kill for ONYX does come forward, but they're taking a lot of damage for it. Bondic and JR on 33 and 35 respectively. Bondic moves up now as a forward player. JR goes down, so does Dav. Harm finds his flanking against Impulse with Bondic. Falls Impulse is the only man left. 1v3, overwhelmed on the reload as Dreamer gets his double, and Fiend find the pistol.
Yeah, Fiend have got very good protocols on Mirage. You could see the way that they want to take CT control. That read towards the backstab is perfect from Red Star. Now, they get the flashes forward. The kills aren't exactly there, so they back off. There's, what, 15, 16 seconds left on the clock after that bomb's gone down to tick away. If they just play passive, they've won that round. ONYX have to get all 4 kills and get that kit back onto the bomb. It's just not going to happen with the time that's left to expire. Fiend, a very simple pistol round for them.
Galil set in, USPs and Deagles out of the buyback. On the CT side is Red Star's USP looks out towards the scout player. The Galil in, does get caught in the end actually, a bit overly aggressive. One lurker out, not gaining much in terms of the kill count, it's just information on the 2 players that are there. The man advantage for ONYX.
Now, Victor going to start lurking forward, catching off a timing that Dav has been able to be further back passive onto that short position rather than quite aggressive. Now, a lot of respect has been given up to these mid players, and for ONYX, with this opening man advantage, they can just continue to try and waste some time. They don't have a lot of util left to work with. They've got that 1 smoke and a couple of flashes, and for Fiend, just going back into A.
Smokes on the suppress here. ONYX trying to stall for as much time as possible, and I know that Fiend are a little bit limited in that respect. They've got players out in Palace and Ramp. 2 players making their way up towards the site. A 1 man in jungle for the CT forces. Lone lurker out towards the Ramp, ladder room I should say, for Victor. Become a bit of a thorn in the side of the rotations. It depends on how the execution comes in and how much he's needed to get to the site quickly. Impulse, first to fall. Player in the default position, undetected thus far. Bondic going to find his flank. Carnival haven't seen him. Headshot of the first. Easy kill for the second. The AK Dreamer there to recover on his lonesome. Overwhelmed by Bondic as Dimki finds Victor. And that was a nice responsive there for the ONYX side.
The only problem with leaving Victor in ladder is that you have to rely on your A main players to get entries and to get that bomb down. He has to be able to find impact late into the round, after the post-blood's already come in, and that just doesn't happen at all. Bondic being able to get into some great positions up on that A side, and we see the assistance even coming through from keeping eyes on that ladder play after the couple of kills had come in, and now we go back and forth for a couple of rounds. Guns out, of course, force brought by the Team Fiend side. Deagles into 3 players, PT50 and Tech9 as well. Of course, weapon saved from ONYX leaves a bit of a better buy by comparison to the previous round. An M4, an AK, a Scout, a Galil, and an SMG. Heavy lean out towards that B site initially for the Fiend side. They're still up towards top mid and playing into underpass, so there's not quite a commitment. And last time we saw ONYX on this map was the last map against Asuba in the last bracket matchup for them. And remember, they were up, what, 15-9 at one point, and then they kind of choked it all the way to OT and then delivered right at the end. So we have seen the only victory they've managed in the last 3 months actually be very close.
Eyes up into the connector control for Fiend. Bubble Those are his teammates giving away info towards that sniper's nest, but they've gained all sorts of mid control, and the flank's going to be completely secured, so it's all down to the site player here at CT. One man out towards this ramp entrance. Victor can get the trade on ONYX, so it's a 4 versus 4. Rotations inbound. That ramp player, JR, is going to extend into ramp and ensure nobody's out there. May still be catching these players off guard, and indeed does get a kill. Victor comes up with another good frag back, and they're actually overwhelming here. 2-on-2 scenario. Fiend catching down on the flank. Now this is dangerous.
Dimke's got to try and clutch. Time is low. That bomb's still got to try and get picked up. They know exactly where he is, but Han hits the scout shot. That is not an easy one to hit from that kind of range. And now we go back and forth even further. ONYX only getting one out to that ticket position. Victor got so many picks with that Tech 9.
And Dreamer and Han to follow his suit as well. Han, in fact, equalized on Victor's part with a scout headshot. Literally perfectly placed here from him. Anything less, any further opposition with that scout's placement, and that would have not been a kill for him. Would have been around for ONYX instead. 2-1 stands up for Fiend, and a tactical was called very early by the Bulgarian side.
Okay, I guess they realize, guys, let's tighten. Let's not go back and forth any longer. Let's not have what we had on Inferno at the start of getting off to a slow start. No, let's pounce quickly. We've got an opportunity of starting to ride out this lead, really gaining rounds on this T side and looking positive from the get-go. Because when you look back to the last map, we saw Han, going 23-6. Victor had a good performance at 25 kills and 10 deaths. So we know there are a lot of star players to look at. And that's what they're probably thinking about in this round too.
Oh, Dimke lines up 2 with the M4 alongside Bonnet to follow suit on Bubble, and the aggression just comes straight forward for ONYX. Fiend overwhelmed in the early part of the round. They're down to a 5v2 already.
Insane to think they've only got 2 rifles to work with going into this 4th, and these rifles have done everything. All the damage possible. Fiend have just taken a tactical and then just get pushed on. Walked into that top mid area.
Trying to account for this kind of a play, and well, they've fallen victim to this kind of a play. Red Star shut down by Dav. Easy pickings for him. Easy pickings for ONYX in general. 2 apiece. Fiends. Double eco status, they're going to force the issue.
Well, there was no flash, no nothing, and I guess because of that, they don't quite have the awareness that they're getting pushed in for that top mid position. And from there, Dreamer's like, right, 2v5, something's got to be made, so I'm just going to peek in dry, try and hope to get some picks back, away back into the round, and for ONYX, that could not have been played any better.
Pretty perfect, if you ask me. Deagle's in again, double eco status for Fiend, so they're going to force the buy here. Hand cannons on most individuals, a PT-50 for Han. ONYX. Their AK saved, the 2 M4s and the Galil that was also saved by Dav. Rifles are plenty here, should have no problems dealing with Fiend, at least in theory.
JR's got to be careful about overextending from that connected position. We've seen before how Fiend have been able to capitalize on overpeaks. Han, oh, this could be an easy kill. Oh, it doesn't quite get that another bullet through.
Catch JR instead, and that's where the theoretical side starts to fall down in this round. 5-on-3. Gained by Fiend. Impulse can get one frag back. He has no idea about harm. Bubble even gets the kill with the Galil, so he don't even need that pistol to be in a flank position. Bonnet does fight 2 frags to respond to a 2 versus 2. Dreamer gonna look for his headshot back against the man. Bonnet can still bail himself out of this round, and indeed he does find his triple with it all on Bubble. Bomb plant can be secured, being spammed up through the danger box. Swing back, coming for Dimke. Can't win that fight. Bonnet does keep control of that. Fiend still made it expensive.
Yeah, Bonnet coming into this matchup today was the 8th highest rated player in the event, putting up an average 1.16 rating. And while he didn't get to show all of his class on the first map, he's definitely showed it here. This was a round that was falling apart so quickly, and they needed the A defender to step up. Doesn't get overwhelmed at all, ends that round with a triple, and even Dimke backs him up in that 2v1 setup.
An early lead found by ONYX, seeming pretty characteristic with how this series has played out thus far. On that last map, it was them that held the early control, the back and forth nature against the likes of Fiend, until Fiend eventually took over and dominated for the rest of the half and most of the second. All those patterns continue to emerge here. Half buy with upgrade pistols, mostly eco without Kevlar for Fiend. Facing in against JR, the man's been spotted, nades on. Damage will be done to Red Star to start.
Now, ONYX are getting a lot of information through mid, with Dav getting aggressive, seeing nothing, so can now start focusing their attention back into this A site. Fiend just going to commit with the XE.
Smokes on, M4's out. Struggling to get his spray to get a 4 JR. Eventually does find his 2 kills alongside ONYX 2 here against Han and Red Star. Dreamer 1 versus 5. Splits in, looking for Bondic, looking for Co. Gets some sort of kill on the way out, unfortunately not to be, but half by round going into the full guns. Fiend now have a chance to strike back.
Yeah, it wasn't really that successful at all, was it? No picks, no bomb plant, so even the upgrades just get decimated. Now a chance to be able to get those rifles forward. ONYX showing a level of competitiveness very similar to the first map. The one element I'm looking at here, Jay, is does it continue? And that's what I'm hoping for ONYX, that they can show something in this series consistently.
Weapons are out. Victor giving a run boost into the mid control. They've got one player in connector from the CT side to receive in. No one's in sniper's nest. They won't be directly challenged. ONYX love debating Fiend, so let's see how this plays out. Whether Fiend can account for it, whether Dimkey's aggression actually could just force a rotation entirely to the A side.
Very cheeky to come in for Dimkey. Now, in this angle, he actually doesn't need to aggress much further forward. They can start rotating over players to this A side, leave that one short angle to keep eyes on mid in case of a split play, and even JR's going to get smoked off from the top of Con.
Well, the Molotov's into that short presence, hoping that Impulse gives up a mistake. It's Han that will peek in against Dimkey, and he flashes forward for Red Star. Knows the try face, but they catch him sleeping. That is an unacceptable kill to go against him. JR finds his pick back. Impulse now caught off towards the van corner. Deagle's out. Can't see any of the T-side players panicking in that position, so Red Star can punish him, and Han's ready for JR. Doesn't even need to strike in. It's Red Star with the AWP pick. A 3-on-2, at least bonded in front of Train in the interim, and Dav's going to find Han aggressing way too far forward.
Yeah, what is going on in this round? We're seeing wild stuff for both of these teams, and now this retake is really on. Han over-aggressing massively. Red Star with the AWP pins the angle, and for Bondic, does he really want to give himself this clutch attempt? Well, he tries to go back in, and the AWP denies all of that availability. 4 kills coming in through from Red Star. My goodness, though, how does this first fight get lost? How does Dimkey loses that?
You can just see his reaction timing was so slow, so he might have been checking like his mini-map or something else.
Yeah.
The best I can describe it is he's caught sleeping. Like, there's no real excuse other than that as to the reason why he's lost it, and I wouldn't even consider that a valid excuse. No way you should lose that fight against the Galil as well. M4s of Dav now pushing forward to try catch even more aggression. This time the flashes have come forward from the likes of the ONYX side, so Fiend have an inkling as to what's happening. Are they able to receive the man? Can they catch him off? Can they kill him off?
They've got an underpass player. So for Dav, even going back to the short position, it allows Bubble to get up onto the bench. They just missed that timing, and it might work further in their favor. They could just try and keep eyes on, get Bubble into connector. They know exactly he's there. They peek on each other's contact. Out from the top of Con, JR does swing, at least bring it back to a 4v4.
Red Star's next to challenge though. JR's going to find that secondary pick back. Now he's really starting to go here. 7 kills in this map so far. Looking to make it 8. Dreamer has other plans. Takes it back to a 3 versus 3. Bondic now sees players coming in to connect to Can't land the tags onto him. Neither to the player over at Palace. We'll take a second fight, but Dreamer's going to win that out as the bomb goes down.
There's so much util for ONYX to work with. They might not even be able to utilize the best of their ability. Yeah, they do trade out into Han. And for Dreamer and Victor, they could just play back passive.
Yeah, bomb planted open. Could be seen here from at least Ramp, maybe not so much Palace. Smokes on, incendiaries ahead. The Palace player's going to have to be the man that strikes, and Dreamer's on 35 HP. Diffuse taps, scopes in, they hear him. Dimkey, the lean up. Try and look for Dreamer. Tags up instead as Victor makes his way forward. Dimkey can strike back towards him. Can't turn on towards Dreamer. 3 kills to his name instead as Fiend find 4.
They're so patient, aren't they? Notice that whole round, they're waiting for Dreamer to peek. They know in that 2v2, there's probably a Palace player, so let's just wait for the frag to come. And it just doesn't happen. Victor pushes out from ramp after that util goes down of what? A smoke and an incendiary that they use. And then eventually, as soon as they gather that information of Dimkey, peek on the contact, swing out wide, allow Dreamer to get that trade. That was just played to a T for Fiend.
They can equalize the scoreboard for it. ONYX down on pistols, probably going to lose this lead at this stage. Bubble already finds that first pick. The Mac 10 straight in, Dav straight out. ONYX will try and aggress up from Palace. Might catch Dreamer off guard if they're lucky enough. They're going to push on towards ramp as well, so they'll get a ton of information. That might force the rotation back for the CTs, but Han and Dreamer find these kills regardless. ONYX sees his man, does get away with that one frag. How much more will they find, though? I don't imagine much. And one more CT out towards Sniper's Nest to get overwhelmed. They will find him in the end, and now they know exactly where they can go. B is completely safe. The Mac 10 even takes a jumping face and almost catches Bonnet for it as well.
Yeah, ONYX just trying to hope to save onto this AK. Victor's going to try and hunt down, make sure that that's not a possibility. Fiend getting up to 5, and ONYX, even the buyback, it's not going to look that great. They shouldn't be able to get an AWP out for Impulse at all, so it will have to be M4A1Ss for the majority of players for this ONYX side. And I guess for the Serbs, it's about just keeping pressure on. Yeah, they've lost the lead. You've still got to try and maintain as much closeness in this first half as possible.
Yeah, utility limits are going to be the main sticking factor here for ONYX. No one's taken a FAMAS out to get the full set of utility in. There's Victor with the run boost out into the mid control. We're going to have to see some CTs, I'd imagine, being pretty far aggressed here for the Fiend side. ONYX is focusing on the ramp control. No one's going to take face here for the T side. They want to play out towards that mid position where ONYX have conveniently backed away from.
And no kit either with that lack of utils. That's another setup. You have to wonder with the protocol how they're going to play it. JR peeking down, not seeing anything to underpass, getting it re-smoked in from a teammate. Oh, he gets caught though.
He does extinguish the Molotov at least. JR can sit here. Flashbang's going to continue to be received. Information to be gained out here. Another Molotov back in for them. It also gets extinguished by the smoke. First smoke's about to clear. A re-smoke comes in from the CT side to keep that position held. And Fiend not being given a chance at contact yet.
So much utils going into connector for both the CT and T side. We've seen 2 re-smokes to the bottom, 2 re-smokes to the top, and Bubble's just waiting for a mistake.
He's pixels away from seeing Dav as well. Finally, JR gives it up. Great kill. Got to look back towards short, but Dav's backed away. Now ONYX stands alone on the back of A. He even rotates back towards that B bomb site, thinking that there might be a backstab involved here. Flash is over, trying to indicate they're still playing towards the mid control, but they should start to recognize ONYX. That's not going to end up being the case. ONYX got a whole hold to hold here on the ace site. Victor to walk out first. 20 seconds. The time is ticking. The bomb's making its way up. Swinging in. I think he just caught Red Star in the back. Swings up towards Palace. Takes a lot of damage, and Dreamer and Victor can get those next 2 kills. 2 left standing with a CT pulls. There's 1 trade for Dimki. Can't make it 2, and Impulse is in the clutch.
He's got no idea there's a B lurk that's come out. Bubble just plays that to perfection. And for Fiend, even though they run the clock low, they've got everyone on the right page. For JR there, he aggresses from bottom con. There's just no util. It's as dry as anything. And it means that for ONYX, he's pretty much alone to defend on that A site. Yeah, he's got teammates from that short position. It's still going to be difficult, in from the top of stairs and from connector. And this is my main concern, is once you give ONYX that freedom of being able to streak rounds together, they're just going to start mopping.
And pistols back out for ONYX now. Fiends finding their form and finding their lead, finding their rounds, finding their half to probably finding their map, and all so much to go their way at this stage. And they've already found the first kill of Impulse. Out and about into the mid position for the T side line. Fiend is just happy to sit pretty and wait. Where do ONYX go with this? How do they outplay this position?
You want to try and play passive, and you want to play individual in a round like this. You can't have the mindset of we need to win this round. Your mindset is let's do damage. Let's try and see if we can pick off a T-side player, recover an AK, bring some weaponry forward into the next round, and just try and see if they can run the clock low. Try and see if they can force Fiend to be passive and go into the last round with a similar mindset, just to be able to perhaps deny the bomb from going down if they can.
Smokes into connector. Flashes over for the T's to make their way up and into the ladder room. Nice and easy against Dav. Even popping open the scaffolding. The B site's open for it as well. No one else is defending that bomb site. So now Bubble just lurks back here in connector, expecting to cover off rotations, deal with JR. Shoulder scene, adjustments there. Great kill. 2 left, 1 more in Sniper's Nest. Who has made his way up. I think Bubble heard their footsteps. Actually, they might not be aware of him. He might have snuck by undetected. Probably not going to be a ninja defuse or anything, but maybe 1 kill could go the way of the CT side.
It's an okay position to be in. It really doesn't feel like they've got any idea. Oh, did you make noise? He still gets a pick. He's going to die, though, straight away. That's the problem, is even with 2 players on short side, you might get away with 1. You're going to get traded, so there's no way you're going to hold on to that weapon. And the slight sound cue, it did make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you could see what he was trying to do there. He was on top of the ladder. He tried to make his way down silently, but obviously didn't quite catch the ladder at the bottom of it. I imagine there probably should have been a decent killing for Red Star. Oh, for Han there, I should say. A bit unlucky with his positioning and just not being able to react in time. Yeah, 7 to the board of the Fiend camp. As again, they extend their lead above ONYX here. Guns back in, double orb set up for Impulse and Dav. 3 M4s. And all the rifles out for Fiend the same.
You know something's going wrong when ONYX go for double orbs. It's not a setup that they use very often, and it works on Mirage. It can work on their CT side. JR making an info play, just sitting in the bottom of connector. Dav peeking forward into the apartments. Oh, doesn't find anything.
I think that aim punch actually threw off his AWP aim because he was had his crosshair directly on one individual, but he got no damage on Red Star. That nade found more. Forced opposition, the flashbangs go over. Keep him away from really pushing forward, not giving up anything more towards the ONYX side though, so Fiend found a way in for now. They haven't quite found an execution basis though.
Oh, the timing. JR's completely caught in the open. Been able to adjust over. Needs to be able to find at least one pick. Does go down. Doesn't know about the mass players that there are here into mid. And even for Dav, just trying to hope to swing on the contact. He's just ever so late to getting into position.
He's scoped though, so Fiend have got the info that there's an AWPer on short or some sort of sniper player on short, most likely an AWP. Another AWP out towards the A site might be undetected as a result of that, but Fiend playing out towards mid, still indecisive of which side they want to go towards, and ONYX will try backstab for that.
I like this positioning coming into ONYX. Haven't seen someone play Firebox at all in this first half for ONYX, so just a bait setup, and even Dimkey's aggressing in the apartments. They're making an info play. They know what's going on. The bomb's going A.
Underpass, in fact, for the likes of Dimkey, he could catch a player off if he's not careful. It's going to be a case of timing here for the CT side. Dreamer to move, Dimkey to continue the backstab. Is he being watched by Victor? Well, apparently not watched far enough. Hahn goes down for it. Red Star can't deal with the man. 15 seconds, though. Bomb's going to make his way to the site, and Bonnig just still sits here at Firebox. He knows his role. Deny that bomb plant, deny this round. He'll get the kill in, but not in time. Dreamer, 1v1, crosses past Dav, and again, the AWP is caught sleeping. Won't try go for any sort of wall bangs. He knows that Dreamer must be out towards that danger box. The flick still is not good enough. Overcooked. Lands on the wall. Flashes go over and Dreamer just waits here. 3 kills for him if he can find this particular frag. Dav to wrap in. Dreamer to evade him. The perfect timing. Ringer, Rosies. But the AWP still catches him and will hold the round for ONYX.
They get the clutch together, and that's what matters there. Bondic, it felt as if he'd made the play. Denies that bomb from going down. Wastes as much time. Dreamer tries to recover that round, get that bomb in. And you can just see in that round, it comes down to Dav being able to show up. A lot of these backstab attempts we're seeing from ONYX, while they're gathering a lot of information, they're actually not getting multi-frags. That's what they're struggling with. And Dav, we just see him being able to come up trumps, struggling with the AWP, but getting that last connection and giving ONYX their 5th.
2 rounds to make up here against Fiend. It's not impossible for them to take this right back to an even standing. But it could also turn out to a 10-5 at the similar position, much like it did in the first map. Rebuy, of course, is in for the Fiend side. They've got a better weapon to the AKs, obviously. Dimkey going to try and move forward. The flash in from Dav to allow him to peek up. Looking towards kitchen, but see nothing.
And Bondic, how's he got all the way out here? So they've made an info play and an aggressive move out from the apartments. They've also done it into ramp.
And Bondic could catch the bomb carrier. Catch a couple of kills for this. Or footsteps. Sees the first. Struggles against the second, but he gets it together in the end. Counter back from Dreamer. Going to try and fall back into position to catch them off at the spawn. But he's so late to the marking. He knows that Bonnic's made his way back out towards ramp. But Bonnic's sticking around, re-aggressing. Oh, this could be real cheeky. Will Fiend detect this? Will ONYX have a 3rd frag on their hands without taking any casualties here? It could be very possible here for Bondic. He drops in the end. Bubble going to evade the position.
Bondic is going to get timinged on, though. He's going to look out to the apartments. Could get caught off by these ramp players. And yeah, it does straight away. But the CTs, they've still got 2 on A.
The hair in there. Red Star combines with Dreamer to get both players to fall on the A site. 3 on 3. JR drops towards Red Star. And Bondic with the godlike plays, but still ONYX couldn't capitalize upon it. It's a 3 on 2. Fiend have control. Dimkey will try lean up. M4 in hand. Suppress back at the back lines. Never counted for this Fiend. Damage will be done. Bubble will get caught with his back turn. There's one more good kill for Dimkey. Makes it a double up. And then he goes for his own big plays. It's Dreamer to 3K clutch this. So 1 versus 2. Looks back in, sees the head of the first man, but can't adjust towards the kill. So ONYX will find another round.
There must be a a range of emotions. Do we want to put that as ONYX? Because it feels really positive, then it feels really negative. Oh, it's getting positive again. You have a look at that round and you think, my goodness, ONYX has such a great play. Drops that bomb, gets the early information, and hang on a minute, what's going on here? Dreamer gets a pick, Red Star gets a pick. Oh, it's a 3-on-2 advantage to come in from Fiend. Dimkey's able to get into the backlines, recover that round. Him and ONYX have been some impressive elements, to say the least, for the CTs.
They have looked good, especially in this map. Impulse will get another good frag in for the likes of Bubble. Not quite as heavy on his own frag numbers as his teammates, but still having impact here to start things off in this round is what ONYX need the most. They've taken away the mid control. They're focused entirely on that apartments play, which all the teams will pour out. Dimkey can get another good frag. Impulse with the crossfire. AWP lands on, and M4 gets a second kill. Dreamer with a trade back, gets a double up, but doesn't go much further than JR.
Yeah, well held from ONYX, and you just see the two anchors on B just being able to provide assistance. Dimkey with 2, Impulse with 2, and then it's down to the retakers to get the job done, to be able to trade out onto Dreamer. And for Impulse, just waiting for that aggressive move. Dimkey at the back of bench just holds off. Both players peek on each other's contacts, and Fiend go out for the B exec. Don't find much success in that round at all, and even going into round 15, money's not really there.
Yeah, rebuy in. Fiend's going to look rough. They lose the AK first and foremost to an M4. Bondit can try and make it a double bubble. Finally gets the responsive involved. The smokes go down and Hans with the press the issue. Very fast default style of play from the individuals out to the mid position. And they might even wrap in against the Impulse. He might not be ready for this. Oh, Han, what are you thinking of, mate? Oh my god, he's stuck right past him. Impulse going to turn towards the man. But at least they get the man advantage.
Oh, he's going to cut the rotate. He's going to wait for the mark and play it, a being straight back in, and Dimkey gives up the ghost, knows the Impulse was the AWP player, so Harmon's going to have an AWP at his feet, doesn't quite jiggle peek, and even for JR, he's just got to hold.
Bubble with his back turned towards the man. Dav finds an AWP pick in the apartments. That bomb's still in the apartments, by the way. 2 versus 2. Dreamer can finally swing, finally hit, but now they've got to get through Dav. Known towards short, scopes were heard. Han going to try just towards the man. Indeed, he does land it to recover an 8th round at the turn of the half for Fiend. Still not quite as one-sided for the Bulgarians as we thought it might have been. So as we head towards the break, it's time to pick up the slacks after this.
Jay, what are we thinking? Wild stuff, right, in that first half? Even for ONYX, this B exec, they're going to be going into, what, 3 players on the A site, and Fiend, it seems as if they already know what's going on.
We've got a bit of a hard stack involved. 1 player on the outskirts and connector, but 3 directly on the site itself. The flashbangs go over. ONYX try the execution. Dimkey can get 1 frag. Bondik can follow suit with a second. Hard with 1 good trade back. Looking at the end of the smoke. He gets a kill as well. Doubling up. Red Star with 2 of his own. And just like that, all the taps come in. All the heads get found. And ONYX capitulate in the pistol.
Yeah, Bubble just saying, the youngsters on this team, Red Star and Han, can you bail us out, please? Because we're not finding much success in the anchor hold. My goodness, Han, in the edge of the top connector smoke, he gets away with so many kills. And even Red Star's there to just bait the distraction between the 2 of them. Jeez, they make that look easy.
I feel like if in tomorrow's game, assuming Fiend win this series, that Han is not becoming player to watch, I'm going to be very disappointed. The number of highlights he's had in this series alone would be enough to make a little highlight reel from that, let alone in this tournament. 9 to the board of Fiend. They found a lead again. They've extended it to 2. ONYX just ripped apart in this eco round. Red Star's already caught 2 in apps, and there's not much left for them here. Han and Dreamer to mop up the rest. 10 to the board. Fiend up against Guns.
It's been a game so far, at least on Mirage, where we could probably say that both teams would look at the intent of it being quite sloppy. Haven't really seen a lot of convincing rounds. It's been down to the wire. We've seen a lot of 2vx's, a lot of clutches that have come through. So because of that, you start wondering to Fiend, okay, is this where we start to see some mellowness, that we get to see some real sort of empowerment coming in, and even the util, they've missed the top window smoke.
Knowing full reign at the top of mid-control for Han, and Koei even finds a blind kill onto Impulse. The start out, JR escapes the ire of the CT forces, fortunately, but so do they escape his ire the same. The AK can't find any frags, grabs that bomb instead, trying to rotate it back out towards the top mid-control. See where they go.
Yeah, ONYX just trying to see if they can get that Krieg to use the scope, look into that short position. Dreamer playing out from ladder has been very silent, hasn't fired away, hasn't opened up the vents. Bubble does at least get a resmoke down to that bottom of composition, does go back and forth with at least Dav in the bottom of window. And for ONYX, they need a man advantage, honestly, because they're not finding much with this mid control. They could split into B at least.
Master Dreamer still held towards ladder room, peeking away, might let them cross. He's seen Bondik now, calls in that shot. Will he call in Red Star to provide support? He just doesn't even need it. Kill found. Red Star does find Dav, but now JR stuck past him. 1v5 for him. They might be aware of this. I think Bubble's going to make his way up. Actually does get caught for it. AK involved with the kill. Did not see him in the apartments. Now should rotate back towards the A side, but that's also being covered off by Han. M4 in versus AK. CT's on the rotations as well. Going to bracket him into the position. Probably not allowed to escape the market doorway. Seeing the taps of Red Star, gets his kill in the end.
Yeah, I was wondering where I was hearing a Glock from, because I was hearing the burst, and then all of a sudden, Bubble that's rotating into market is burst firing, or at least going between burst and automatic with that from R. So it gives the information away to JR that at least one is in market. Other than that, though, that's really all that gets found. Red Star with another great hold towards his B side. And even for him, his multi-frags in this second half just seem to be coming so frequently.
Incendiary's out, standard utility set into the mid-control. Bubble's going to wait. Want to give him up an angle here over on the CT forces. Han's going to wait no longer. Find Dav instead out towards ramp. Drop that bomb. Double up. Victor gets the kill on the player out of Palace. Impulse and JR. Not much that they can do here. Ripped apart. Bubble with his 2 kills. 12-7 Fiend. This is looking a lot like how the last map second half went down. Just sheer dominance until the very last few hurdles before ONYX stepped it up. Is there even a step up phase here for the ONYX side?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Fiend have come out to the second half. They've looked composed. They've looked fearless. And I guess it really does show just how important roster changes can be and how slight variation can change a whole team's dynamic. Because towards the back end of Windigo, we saw them really falling down. It's been, what, a couple of years until that point. And now we're starting to see Bulgarian CS is back.
Fiend right now, the team that lead that charge. Always been a back and forth between them and Skaters. Who's the better? Right now, Fiend are the ones ahead. And the head-to-heads in the rankings and everything. And lead that charge here into the lower bracket finals as well. So intervals the A site default. Most of the 3 players out there, 2 on the rotations from Fiend to be ready for ONYX and whatever they want to throw at them. There's passive defaults into the T side.
Yeah, ONYX are just hoping that they can force some passiveness in from the city side on A. Bubble playing deep, trying to see if he can push forward to this connected position. They might not expect this at all. This could open up a chance of an opening fight. Doesn't actually go his way, and he loses to the spam.
As Dimkey stepping up as he likes to do so. You mentioned how he was quiet in that first map and has been a highlight player for the second. Could be the entry that they need here for the T's. Red Star caught off by a flash. Dimkey can get that kill. Dream is still on site. Only finds 1 for it. Dav with a responsive to 4-on-2 and Fiend are out of there.
Yeah, impressive stuff in for ONYX. They're able to bait in a mistake, allow Bubble to go aggressive into connector, and they're just watching it. So they win out that first fight. And even from there, you've got, what, the off angle being held by Red Star. He's not able to find anything. Dav and Dimkey working together with some of those entries. ONYX getting up to A, and just well drilled in that round there for ONYX.
Okay, so these 2 rifles staying alive for Fiend. Giving A up to the T side board. Just 1 more good round for the T side. Their first T side round in this half. Overwhelming and catching Fiend a little bit flat-footed in that particular defensive. Now come the double orb setup here. We talked about how ineffective that was over on Inferno. Can it be more so effective here on Mirage?
Yes. It's their best map to run double orbs. That and Dust 2, those guys rock. And you can just imagine for Fiend, you're going to see a lot of AWPing in mid. Connector, window room, these guys love it. And for ONYX, they need to try and fight these orbs straight away.
Looks up. Frag on. Dimkey caught. Nice start for Han. And a gap in that smoke for Red Star to abuse. The ONYX side didn't see that coming. Was that an incendiary that threw that off, or what? What happened there?
I don't think it was, because Red Star still got an incendiary. I think it's just a missed window smoke that came through for ONYX. And Bubble's even expecting the walkout for the apartments.
Waiting above that smoke, or looking above the smoke. Could jump up top of the van and look into the apartments directly, but he's being quiet about this. Reaggresses. Keeping his head ducked below the AK's line of fire. Red Star checking out the back lines in case someone has gone for the backstab, but Bubble's now going to turn in towards Dav. Back turn towards him. Easy kill, easy double, bomb dropped. And Fiend are right back on track. A bit of a hiccup there in the previous round. But here we're looking down to 13-8, and there's not much that Bond can do to deny it.
And if you are one of these rising Tier 2 teams, you have to bring something to the table that other teams aren't. And they are one of the only teams in the world right now that double AWP in mid. A lot of the time, if you see a double AWP setup, you might have one that sort of lurks around jungle, connector, window, and then the other one that plays B anchor or A anchor and plays really deep. They don't do that at all for Fiend. And it meant straight away, the first, 20 seconds of the round, they already had a 5-on-3. Both AWPers got picks.
Guns be back in for both sides once again. Fiend found everything. ONYX. Gun set up, fast flash in. Victor's just found the headshot easy. Not even giving Dimkey any mercy. Neither does Dreamer. Kill onto the Palace entrance. Flings out towards Dark. JR's caught black, flash blinded. That bomb drop. Orb there to cover off Impulse. And it's clean up time. It's mop up time. Fiend are showing no further mercy to ONYX. They want to close this one out quick.
Yeah, of course they do. And for ONYX, this is just going to disrupt the money line massively. Yeah, they're able to get a pick onto the AWPer. How much more of that's going to be found? Bubble just jiggling. Try not to give them individual fights. Dreamer swinging out really wide. What is going on there? I did not like that.
That transfer looked like it was on as well, by the way. If he got that second kill, and it's a 1v1. It's like, okay, this round could just get thrown by Fiend. That's fine.
Yeah, honestly.
Good effort from Dav. It almost leading up to a 3k, maybe even further than that. But 14-8, Fiend have the lead. They're extending it to look towards map point and match point once again. They've got one final buy in them here, ONYX. Need to get the full weapons out. Need to turn this round to effect, else they are done here. And Red Star, he just finds it easy.
Now, there's just no nades for them to even drive him away. Han playing up to Ticket. He gets a pick. Yeah, loses his teammate into Victor. They've got to try and get the bomb down quickly, and Red Star's still in jungle.
Warp leans in, shot does not connect. Impulse turns it on against him. Han lands a leg shot and falls back away past that smoke. Dim can try and look for the bomb plant here. Han's going to try and aggress towards him, sees him, catches him. Now 2 left for the ONYX side. A 3-on-2 scenario, still recoverable. They can just keep themselves held together and find these trades. Look up at Tetris though, Impulse is seen. Bondic gone! And Han just lands a quadra. Everyone's dead, everyone's done. Fiend 15-8, map match, and low bracket point.
Now, most teams there, Jay, would probably say 3v3, wait for the bomb to go down. Bull retake. Han goes, no, I've got this. Don't worry about it. Jeez, these flicks, even that last shot,
My God.
just looking so comfortable. That's what I love about this youngster. Looks just so clean.
He is a star. Unbelievable. And quickly try and back up the A-side defensive as well in from short. Seems to be a palace dive coming in from the T-side line with smokes to support it. Victor's watching. Bondic seen towards the firebox. JL gets caught first and foremost. Bondic caught jumping as well. Victor with his frags. Dab with one trade. It's blind fire from the Orpers. Gap and a smoke caught by Red Star. A lot of gaps in these smokes here for the T's. And it's going to punish him. His Dreamer has all the info to catch Dimki, leave Impulse and Dab. The last 2 players that remain here for ONYX. The last 2 chances that we have to see something in this bracket, but it's not going to be. Dreamer with the final kill in the matchup to leave 16-8 for the favour of Fiend in a 2-0 series that puts them in the consolation finals.